Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay Black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Today is Friday, October 10th, 2025, coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. Oh, the little small, whiny imp. That's Donald the Con Trump. Y'all, he's in his feelings because he takes another L. So sad, he wasn't awarded the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize. And his maggots are crying foul, upset, angry. Must be rough getting beat up by an Hispanic woman. Ooh, y'all know I got lots to say. In Los Angeles, new football team, new sports teams, Olympic dreams are turning into nightmares for a historic Black community of Englewood. A new federal investigation is exposing shady deals between the city's latest arena. We'll talk to the reporters with the Capital B News that wrote this story. Day 10 of the government shutdown. For the first time, federal workers are missing an entire paycheck. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries lays out how Democrats plan to end the stalemate. And also, Mike Johnson gets blasted by the wife of a member of the military. The future of public media for Black viewers is on the line. WHUT-TV, the only Black-owned public station licensed to an HBCU, facing serious challenges because Donald Trump slashed buildings from public broadcasting. We'll talk to the general manager of the station. Plus, federal National Guard troops are not patrolling the streets of Memphis. We'll talk to a councilwoman about that issue. Plus, some protesters showed up again at the book event for Vice President Kamala Harris here in Washington, D.C. Let's just say she bought sick and tired of being sick and tired of these loud-ass hecklers. It's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the fine. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, y'all. It's Roland Martin, Rolling with Roland now. He's funky, he's fresh, he's real, the best. You know he's Roland Martin.
morning, the Nobel folks announced the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize winner. And Donald Trump swore he was going to wake up to horns blaring, flowers being tossed around, praising him as the dear leader, as the one who is bringing world peace to everywhere on the planet. Nope, didn't happen. A Venezuelan opposition leader driven into hiding since a disputed election last year. She's the recipient of the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize. The Nobel Committee recognized Maria Corina Machado for keeping, quote, the flame of democracy burning amid a growing darkness. The committee secretary notified her by phone before the announcement. Check this out.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes?
Yes.
Hello?
Am I talking to Maria Corina Machado?
Yes, this is Maria Corina.
Yes, Maria Corina. My name is Christian Bergard Piken. I am the secretary of the Norwegian Nobel Committee in Oslo. And I'm calling to inform you that in a few minutes, it shall be announced here at the Nobel Institute that you will be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for 2025.
Oh my God.
So warmest congratulations to you, Maria.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, I have no words. I thank you so much, but I hope you understand this is a movement. This is a achievement of a whole society. I am just one person. I certainly do not deserve this. Oh my God.
I think both the movement and you deserve it. So I'm sure this comes as a surprise, and I'm sorry to have to wake you up in the middle of the night to convey this. We don't have much time. We actually are making the announcement just in a few minutes. But I want to quote just shortly from the text that will be announced shortly, where it is said that you are receiving the prize for, and here I quote directly from the announcement, for her tireless work promoting democratic rights for the people of Venezuela and for her struggle to achieve a just and peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy.
I'm honored, humbled. I am very grateful on behalf of the Venezuelan people. We're not there yet. We're working very hard to achieve it, but I'm sure that we will prevail, and this is certainly the biggest recognition to our people that certainly deserve it. So thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I'm very happy to hear your...
That's what it sounds like when you do the work and you're not out there campaigning to receive it. Now, yesterday in the Oval Office, Donald Trump was asked about it. Now, y'all know for months he's been campaigning. In fact, he took credit for India and Pakistan coming to a truce and even put pressure on he got mad at the Indian Prime Minister because the Indian Prime Minister said, you didn't negotiate this, we did. And he wanted the Indian Prime Minister to nominate him for the Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, this narcissistic, lame ass is just whining and complaining. So this was him yesterday in the Oval Office, decorated, looking like a pathetic, all that trash in the Oval Office looks ridiculous. But listen to this fool, y'all.
Peace Prize for way less than you did, and you President Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize
He got a prize for doing nothing.
Exactly.
Obama got a prize. He didn't even know what he got. He got elected, and they gave it to Obama for doing absolutely nothing but destroying our country. No, he was not a good president. The worst president was Sleepy Joe Biden. But Obama was not a good president.
Are you going to do something with the
They gave him a prize. How many months after he won the election, then they gave him the Peace Prize, right?
It was right before he was elected.
My election was a much more important election.
Oh, y'all, he really upset. Now, mind you, they voted weeks ago. But see, he thought with this announcement with the truce in Gaza between Hamas and Israel, that was going to do it. They'd already voted. Here's the other thing. They vote for the work you did last year. You weren't in the Oval Office last year. After they made the announcement, the Nobel Committee's chair was asked about the twice impeached, criminally convicted felon-in-chief and his odious campaign to win the Nobel Peace Prize.
Congratulations to Maria Corina Machado and the committee on the decision. But during the past months, U.S. President Donald Trump has repeatedly said he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize and he'd like to have it. He even said that it would be an insult to the United States if he doesn't get it. What does as the chairman of the Nobel Peace Prize Committee, think of this, and how has this campaign-like activity by the president and his supporters, domestically and internationally, affected the deliberations and the thinking in the committee?
In the long history of the Nobel Peace Prize, I think this committee have seen any type of campaign, media attention. We receive thousands and thousands of letters every year of people wanting to say what for them leads to peace. This committee sits in a room filled with the portraits of all laureates, and that room is filled with both courage and integrity. So we base only our decision on the work and the will of Alfred Nobel.
Hello, Bibiana Piene from the Norwegian News Agency. As you state in your explanation, more and more countries are moving in a more autocratic direction. Would you say that the committee, by this prize, is sending a warning to the world?
Living in a world where we have less and less democracies and more authoritarian regime means that the world is also getting more unsafe. And we believe that peace, democracy is a precondition for peace. And so, yes, that is the message to the world. We need to support the democratic forces also on behalf of peace. Thank you.
Boys, he sort of laid it out there, and, you see where we're going, being very much dealing with a dictator who's in the Oval Office, but he desperately wants to get some credit. Now, let's just be clear. Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize in 2009. He didn't earn it, and so he got it because they were hoping that he would bring bring peace. But that wasn't the case. We look at the drone attacks and things along those lines. So he didn't actually deserve it. But let me tell y'all something. These MAGA people have been losing their mind. Look at this congressman. He goes on CNBC where he says, damn it, we're going to vote and just give it to Donald anyway.
And Donald Trump has done that, and I applaud him for that. That's why he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, and that's why I'm introducing a resolution for a sense of Congress today that will honor him with the Nobel Peace Prize. And if need be, we'll call for a discharge petition on that. I hope we can work with the Speaker, though, and get it on the floor for a vote.
Do you think Democrats will ever acknowledge his role in this peace process?
No. I don't think so. And let's face it, right now what we're witnessing with Chuck Schumer is just trying to be more anti-Trump than AOC because he's afraid he's going to get primaried by her. They have such a Trump derangement syndrome over there that I doubt anything that is going to help President Trump or honor President Trump is going to be supported by the Democrats.
No, I would say the derangement is with you maggots and how y'all do whatever you can to kiss this man's ass. Here is Congressman Steve Scalise sounding even more stupid.
And it's why you have people, even on the left, saying that he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, if Nobel wants to restore what used to be a once dignified prize, they can restore their credibility by awarding President Trump the Nobel Peace Prize. He's earned it. He's done more than any leader in the world in years to bring peace throughout the world, especially in the Middle East.
Nobel Peace Prize is literally one of the most distinguished awards in the world. I don't think for a second anybody outside of MAGA world is going, oh my God, this has been tarnished because they didn't paint the medal orange. Now, this is what happens when you choose not to run for re-election as a Republican. You start actually talking with some common sense. This is Nebraska Congressman Don Bacon, Republican, who's not seeking re-election on CNN.
This whole thing about the Nobel Peace Prize, I think, is silly. Do the right thing. Try to create peace. Lobbying for an award, to me, it looks unseemly. And he would just be better off delivering results and let the chips fall where they fall for the Nobel Peace Prize. But we also got to be clear, the Nobel Peace Prize is for, this last one, for what happened in 2024. He wasn't even president yet. And so I think we just should be honest. The Nobel Committee, they were looking for behavior and actions and achievements from 2024.
It's kind of basic. Time Magazine, this is what they put out. I think it's appropriate, what they actually said. Oh, my God, Trump loses Nobel Peace Prize for a shameful campaign. Yeah, he was campaigning for it, y'all. Like, dude, this is not the Oscars. This ain't the Golden Globes. This is, I deserve it. I deserve it. No, I deserve it. I've done a lot. I deserve it. Give it to me. You gave it to the black guy. The black guy got it. Why can't you give it to me? That's literally what this idiot sounded like, y'all. My panel, Matt Manning, civil rights attorney out of Corpus Christi, Candace Kelly, legal analyst, host of Not All Hood out of South Orange, New Jersey, Michael Imhotep, host of the African History Network show out of Detroit. And it's so, Jimmy Kimmel had put together this mashup, Candace, of all the times this fool was just campaigning and just, I deserve it. I mean, I don't want it, I don't need it, but I deserve it, and I should get it, but I don't want it, I don't need it. Dude, come on. It's all ego. It's narcissists. And these Republicans, such lapdogs. I mean, seriously, they kiss his ass more than Melania does.
Middle of everything that's going on in this country and in this world, that he would have the time to actually lobby for this prize that doesn't really make a difference in a lot of things that are going on here on America's soil. I think the other thing is that, as we talked about, this is for last year's doings. If you look at Machado and everything that she's done and what she's done over the past decade and a half, at least from what I understand, and transforming Venezuela and making sure that the transition into a more democratic regime was possible, what she has done has been simply extraordinary. Being in hiding, giving speeches while she's been in hiding. All her allies have received death threats and have been a part of huge attacks. This is someone who won by 90% of the vote, and then they questioned that vote. Then she went ahead and supported the next person that went out and won, and they recounted the vote. I mean, these are things that you have to take yourself out of in order to empower the people, and that's really not something that President Donald Trump is known for. He's not known for empowering the people. He's known for taking power away from the people, and especially these days from the states, which is what he's recently been in court for.
Talk about being a petty little individual, Matt, and just, I deserve it, I deserve it. And he was, and again, he hates Obama, he hates Biden. And what's crazy to me, all of these MAGA folks on social media, they were complaining about Obama's statement regarding the Israel-Hamas deal. Look at it. You can't give him credit, I'm like, wait a minute. Y'all are defending an asshole who gives Obama credit for nothing, Biden credit for nothing, but y'all want them to give him credit? Man, they can go to hell.
You know, what I'm really
confounded by is the psychology behind this, because it's interesting to use the metaphor of a petulant child. That's what I keep thinking. You know, Donald Trump is just a bully. He's a bully, and instead of people saying this guy's a bully, he's a jerk, you know, we don't want to play into any of that, they are falling all over themselves to lick his boots more and more. And, you know, if you want to say Trump's taking credit for something that's not substantiated by data, which they do every day all the time, okay, sure. But we're talking about the zenith of achievements in the world, the Nobel Peace Prize. You think you can lobby for it and just get it because you think you're him? I mean, that's absurd to me that anybody who's rational, even on the Republican side, would be advocating for this, because not only is it the timing of the achievements, meaning things that were done before he even retook office, this is not an award that you should lobby for, just like you're talking about with the entertainment awards that people lobby for. This is something that is given to an august body of people, even if you think some of those people, i.e. Mr. Obama, should never have won it in the past. It's a crazy idea to me that people are advocating for this. But I think this is the kind of psychosis, frankly, that we see with the maggots these days, who just are going to do whatever dear leader says. Whatever he says, they get in lockstep behind. But, I mean, this is the Nobel Peace Prize. The idea that you would think you get to just talk your way into it is really an absurd notion. And it's crazy that people are giving any country to that, because it's wild. I mean, why would you ever think that you're going to just say, I should get it because I'm dope, and they're going to give you the Nobel Peace Prize, and then your bootlickers are angry that you didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize? This doesn't make any sense to me. And I think Congressman Bacon's words that this were silly are the perfect terminology, because this is really asinine. You should be embarrassed that you're supporting this idiocy.
And when you say angry, man, they are angry, Michael. They are losing their minds. Stephen Chung, his communications, he's posting tweets, all sorts of stuff. And I'm sitting there going, y'all okay? Y'all okay? I mean, they're absolutely losing it. I'm cracking up laughing. But you saw how she reacted to winning. She says, it's not about me, it's about the movement. When Dr. King won the Nobel Peace Prize, he gave the money to the movement. He accepted the Nobel Peace Prize on behalf of the movement. See, that's what real leaders do. But when you are arrogant, petulant, narcissist fools like Trump, well, this is what you get.
Absolutely. And the maggots who are upset are going to continue to be upset as they lose their jobs, as they lose their farms, as they lose their outhouses, as they go without paychecks, as the price of vegetables keeps increasing, as they lose their health care because of the cuts to Medicaid, because of Donald Trump. So, no, he doesn't deserve the Nobel Peace Prize. First of all, with DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, is estimated that 300,000 people worldwide have died because of USAID being shut down. Okay, so how could you on the one hand say you deserve the Nobel Peace Prize? Dr. King won it in 1964. How could you on the one hand say you deserve that, but you're not really promoting peace? Okay, you are exhibiting authoritarian behavior. That's the antithesis. That's the opposite of what the Nobel Peace Prize is for. So you can't claim you deserve the Nobel Peace Prize, but you incited a January 6th insurrection. All right. So no, he doesn't. He doesn't deserve that. So the maggots are going to continue to be upset, and because of what's happening to them, because of Donald Trump, they should be upset.
I don't care if he's upset, because I don't give a shit about him. And I just think it's hilarious to watch their meltdown, because they just can't handle the reality of what went on here. And it's just, like, what do we do? Dear leader didn't win. Oh, my God, what do we do? And I'm telling you, I have been laughing, and I'm King Petty. Candace, all day, I've been commenting, and I'm sitting there going like, L, suck it. You lost. I've been saying everything, because that's what they are. They're losers.
Exactly.
Yes.
I was looking at some headlines, and it said that she spoke to the president, spoke to Donald Trump, and she said that she supported him, that he supported her, and she dedicated the award to him. for his decisive support. Now, whether or not that's true.
No. What she did was she released a statement where she's called upon Trump, the United States, Latin America, and other countries to continue the fight. Yeah, but they're making it sound like, oh my God, she was praising him night and day.
But now here's the thing. I'm going to look to it further. We know how the news cycle works. But let's say she did do that. That would show her grace. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right. That would show the person that she is, the reason why she got the award. This is someone that if she did do that, or whether it was made up or contextually we're out of context, it shows her grace and it shows the type of person that she is to get an award like this, because that's not something that Donald Trump would do. No, because we know he ain't got no grace. Because if it was him, it was, I did it, I won. That would be him and his idiot followers. So yes, I think it's a glorious day that the Nobel Peace Prize remains gold and not orange. Got to go to a break. When we come back, folks, we're going to talk about black folks in Englewood, California, not happy at all with all of this sports development, saying they're getting squeezed out, being gentrified, and they say the city leaders sold them out. We'll discuss that next. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
The original No Kings protest was 250 years ago. Americans decided they didn't want to live under the rule of King George III. They declared their independence and fought a bloody war for democracy. We've had 2.5 centuries of democracy since then. Often challenging, sometimes messy, always essential. And we've fought in 2 world wars to preserve it. Now we have a would-be king who wants to take it away. King Donald I. Fuck that. We're rising up again this time, nonviolently raising our voices to declare no kings. I'm Robert De Niro, asking you to stand up and be counted in the nationwide No Kings protest on October 18th. Visit nokings.org to find, volunteer, or host a protest near you. We're all in this together, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on The Black Table with me, Greg Carr. A reminder that there is always more to a story than meets the eye. From book bannings, growing censorship in our classrooms, and the loss of basic human rights, the actual motivations behind those actions and others paint an even more troubling picture than most of us realize.
What we need to do is bring this issue front and center to the table, because the alternative is that we'll just go down slow. Which is no way to go down.
Master historian and educator Dr. Gerald Horne joins us again, and we take a deep dive into the truths behind the headlines of the day and how we might be able to turn the tide. That's on the next Black Table here on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Swing Cash, Basketball Hall of Famer, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Folks, the Intuit Dome in Englewood, California was supposed to be a symbol of progress. The $2 billion eco-friendly arena was intended to anchor a new entertainment district and serve as one of the key venues for the 2028 Olympics. But for many longtime black residents, it's turned into a nightmare filled with displacement and broken promises. Since the arena for the Los Angeles Clippers opened last year, more than 11,000 black residents have left Englewood, replaced by wealthier newcomers, changing the city's culture and community feel. Now the Dome's so-called green projects are under a federal investigation for possible fraud. And residents say that traffic, struggles for small businesses, and rising rents have made life harder than ever. Critics point to billionaire Clippers owner Steve Ballmer's campaign donations and argue that city leaders have sold out African Americans who contributed to Englewood's success. They're calling for real investment in schools, housing, and families, not just arenas. Capital B climate and environment reporter Adam Mahoney, who's been following this story, joins us now from New Orleans. Adam, glad to have you here. So for folks who don't know, just paint the picture of what Englewood, California is.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Englewood is
a historically Black enclave in Southern California. It was one of the first destinations for Black migrants when they came from the South during the Great Migration, due to, a history of redlining and other racist and discriminatory housing policies, kind of forced people into this suburb of Los Angeles County. But what we've seen over the last decade or so is that kind of complete erasure and displacement of folks. Englewood is no longer a majority Black city. Since the entertainment district was proposed in 2016, and we've seen SoFi Stadium built, the most expensive football stadium in the world, built for the Rams and the Chargers. And then the Intuit Dome, the most expensive basketball arena in the world, built for the Clippers and the LA Olympics in 2028. We've seen over 11,000 Black folks forced out of the city, while residents of every other race have increased.
Now, when you say forced out, what do you mean by that? How are they forced out?
Yeah, I mean, so it's a lot of those anchors of displacement and gentrification that we see. So in the immediate aftermath of these stadiums being proposed, rents doubled in some places in the immediate neighborhood around the arena. And since then, in that community, the median income has risen from about 50,000 to 71,000, which on paper you'd be like, that means people are getting more economic opportunities. But really, it has just reflected the reality that the folks that called this place home are no longer there anymore. And then at the same time, we've seen schools closed as, Black children and Black families have been pushed out. And a lot of the new residents there are not actually calling for public schools to be, rebuilt or to be funded. Rather, they're sending their children to, charter and private schools outside of the city. So a lot of those resources that you would depend on to make a place whole are just non-existent now.
All right. And so people can understand what we're talking about here. At the end of the day, massive facilities come in, billions being spent, entertainment complex. So all of a sudden, white folks who long ignored Englewood were like, oh, we can roll up in there now. And that now then all the amenities. So what then happens is when they come in, they start buying, start building, all of a sudden, property values go up because houses are now valued more. This is classic gentrification that we've seen in cities all across America. And for people who don't know, the leadership of Englewood is Black. I don't understand. And again, and people also know Englewood because that's where the Forum was, the Great Western Forum, where the Lakers played for a very long time. So that was really the only sports. But the people came to the game and they left. This is different with what they're doing here. With this stadium, entertainment district, they're basically trying to create, because the Clippers used to play in where the Lakers play. I don't know what I think it's still called Crypto Arena. I don't know what the hell it's called. So yeah, they wanted their own arena. So now they're trying to create, in essence, a second entertainment district that's out there. And so now all of a sudden you're going to go out there and now you're going to see gleaming new buildings and streets and restaurants and cafes and all these things. And the people who live there cannot afford to live there.
Yeah, that is exactly it. And at the same time that these arenas have been built up, there's also been luxury townhomes and apartments built up directly around the facilities, which are not built in mind for the people who have called Englewood home for so long. And I think, residents that I talked with also, felt some type of way about the fact that, Englewood, especially the eastern part of the city going towards South Central, was really devastated during the LA riots in 1992. And there are still empty storefronts and empty lots from all the way back then, right? Thinking about over 30 years ago. But now they're finally seeing investment in their city, but it's not for them.
What are city leaders saying? Because I remember when this was, when this first started, oh man, the mayor was excited. He was happy. Oh man, what it's going to mean? And they were making all these promises. What are they saying now?
Yeah, the city officials, specifically Englewood Mayor James Butts, he is kind of saying the exact same thing that he has been saying for the last decade, pointing to, increased tax revenue, increased investment and attention from out-of-state investors or even foreign investors when we think about the significance of the Olympics. In the mind of leadership, there has been a spotlight on the city. And with that spotlight has come, quote unquote, economic investment. But we as we've seen time and time again, when we think about these big projects, that investment does not trickle down into the communities that have called this city home for so long. So that's really been it. It's just on paper, there is more money flowing through Englewood. It's about who's catching that money, though.
How are residents organizing and mobilizing there to change what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of coalitions that have been born out of this moment. There's an organization called No Olympics LA that has been, it's a coalition of different community groups made up of like tenant unions, social justice organizers who are kind of connecting all of the dots here, right? Thinking about the environmental impact of having the Olympics there, having these sporting events there, and the increased air pollution from all of the traffic that has flown through the city, or thinking about rising rents and making sure that people can stay in their homes. These organizations are at the really local neighborhood level, trying to get folks involved and advocating for themselves, but also making sure, to put their best foot forward when we think about electoral politics, and making all of these different intersections to make sure that the Black and brown folks that have called this place home for so long can stay there.
Questions from my panel. Michael, you first.
All right, Adam. Kind of along the lines of what Roland was saying, I live here in Detroit. We've seen stadiums built here. We've seen gentrification in Detroit. I wanted more information possibly about how elected officials are addressing the complaints from the African-American community. Number one, like rental assistance, different things like this. Because anytime stadiums come like this, right, you know gentrification is coming, all right? So how are they trying to help African Americans who help put them in office?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And like I said, at kind of the forefront, the elected officials are still staying true to what they have been saying over the last decade, but there has been policies put forth. Most namely, there was a rent control and rent regulation policy that was passed during COVID. But the issue is that it happened after that major jump in prices, right? So immediately after SoFi started construction in 2019, rents jumped from around $1,200 for a 2-bedroom in the immediate neighborhood to $2,200. But the rent control legislation was then passed on that $2,200 baseline. So on paper, there has been some kind of legislative effort, but it just does not connect to the reality on the ground, unfortunately.
Matt?
Yeah, Adam. So my question is kind of two-part. First, is there any part of this land that's being used to be built to build the stadium that is using eminent domain or any kind of nexus with the government? And I ask because obviously that would give you certain due process rights that a purely private enterprise wouldn't necessarily give you, number one. And number two, have the LA Clippers or any entity involved in building this stadium done any kind of efforts where they've gone out and tried to either, basically buy people off, give them money, infuse money into the program? And I don't want to make my question too long, but I ask that because I live in Corpus Christi. They just built a new bridge. And before they built this bridge through the Black neighborhood, they went through and tried to buy people's houses to try to appease people, right? And they say, we'll give you money for your house, even though they didn't have a legal means to do it. So I'm wondering if there's been any kind of public-partner, private-ship or partnership to that effect in this instance.
Yes. So to answer your first question, the build out of these stadiums took place on land that was technically vacant. So they are adjacent to the LA Forum, which still exists. But, since the Lakers left in the early 2000s, it's really kind of been a ghost town in that area. There was some eminent domain that took place, but it wasn't of homes, it was of businesses. And most important to note, Governor Newsom actually, for both the Intuit Dome and SoFi Stadium, allowed the owners of the arenas to bypass the environmental review period, which then meant they were blocked from being sued for different things related to the construction or environmental impact of these facilities. So kind of with that blank check, it allowed this to kind of get forced through very quickly. But in the aftermath, we have seen both the LA Rams, LA Chargers, and the LA Clippers do investment into the city. A part of the Clippers' move into Englewood, they did set aside a certain amount of money to be given to the city of Englewood. And in the aftermath, we've seen things like they've funded different events at local schools, textbooks, repairs, and things like that. But the issue is, at the same time that some institutions have been propped up, some schools have been propped up, we've seen over half a dozen schools be closed in the last 4 years.
Candace.
So, Adam, you mentioned Governor Newsom, and we know that in 2021 that he and his wife also gave $1 million to his political campaign. And I'm wondering, what has he been saying these days in terms of some accountability? What are people saying to him? What do they want from him? And how has his response been?
Yeah, I mean, as we reported out this article, we did reach out to Governor Newsom's media team. We got a response back initially, and then they didn't actually address any of the questions. I think at the local level, really all of the focus, for better or for worse, has been with the city officials, and then in addition, the owners of these facilities. And I think Governor Newsom and maybe the state level actions that allowed this project to happen have kind of been ignored or gone under the radar because of that. And we know now, I mean, there's a lot more things on his plate where it does seem like it won't necessarily be addressed at that level.
Well, all right, then. Well, excellent reporting there. For folks who don't know, just share about Capital B.
Yeah, Capital B, we're a national nonprofit newsroom with an all-Black staff. We report on Black communities across the country. I'm on the national team. We have a local newsroom in Atlanta and another local newsroom in Gary, Indiana. You can check out our website at capitalbnews.org and subscribe to our newsletter. All right, then. Folks, y'all pull the website up.
So folks, we want you to support, again, we got, Black-owned media properties that are for-profit, nonprofit. We had the Tribe on last week. And so we had the Tribe on last week. Now we have Capital B as well. So again, the website again?
capitalbnews.org.
capitalbnews.org. All right, then. Adam, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
All right, folks, going to a break. We'll be right back. We'll talk federal government shutdown entering its 10th day. And, you got the Speaker of the House. He's still lying. So we'll show you more of those lies. Folks, don't forget to support the work that we do. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans on average contributing $50 each a year. That'll raise $1 million to offset our expenses, which are $195,000 a month. Your support is crucial. And so if you want to support the work that we do, we just tell you about Capital B. We got the Tribe in Chicago. Again, Black-owned media needs our support, especially in these times with these attacks on DEI, corporations pulling back, not spending money on advertising, not investing, not supporting, not sponsoring. And so your support is critical. So if you want to contribute via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here in the bottom left-hand corner. You can use that Stripe QR code for Cash App or credit cards. PayPal is R. Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Of course, checks and money order. Make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. Send to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 2003 7-0196. We'll be right back.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. Why the America we live in today is not what the founders intended or what they outlined in the Declaration of Independence and even the Constitution. Professor and author Kermit Roosevelt will join us to talk about his book, The Nation That Never Was. How history was misinterpreted, the intent and realities of America's beginnings, and missed a much better story in the process.
So if you have to pick some group to marginalize, I think it should be the people who are against equality.
That's next on The Black Table, right here on the Black Star Network.
This week on The Other Side of Change,
we are talking about the government shutdown and how it's impacting our everyday lives, including our pocketbooks.
These motherfuckers are crazy as hell. They are willing to shut down the entire government, to force people to pay more in their health care, to subsidize tax breaks for the wealthiest people.
You're watching The Other Side of Change only on the Black Star Network.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
If in this country right now, you have people get up in the morning and the only thing they can think about is how many people they can hurt, and they got the power, that's the time for mourning.
For better or worse, what makes America special, it's that legal system that's supposed to protect minorities from the tyranny of the majority.
We are at a point of a moral emergency. We must raise a voice of outrage. We must raise a voice of compassion. And we must raise a voice of unity.
We are not in a crisis of party versus party. We are in a crisis of civilization, a human rights crisis, and a crisis of democracy itself. And guess what? You've been chosen to make sure that those that would destroy, those that would hate, don't have the final say, and they don't ultimately win.
Michael McMillan, President and CEO of the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis, and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Folks, day 10 of the government shutdown is the first day that federal workers will miss their whole paycheck since the shutdown began October 1st. Office of Management and Budget Director Russ Vaught announced that the Trump administration has begun laying off government employees. Posting on social media, the rifts have begun, referring to reductions in force or layoffs. With the Senate now adjourned until next week and no deal in sight, it's increasingly likely that members of the military are going to miss their next paycheck, scheduled for October 15th. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries called out the vacationing Republicans for not wanting to reopen the government.
The government has been shut down for 10 days. Our men and women in uniform and hardworking federal employees are working without pay. Donald Trump can find the time to play golf, but he can't be bothered negotiating a bipartisan agreement to reopen the government and address the health care crisis that they've created, and House Republicans remain on vacation for 3 weeks. The American people are sick and tired of the chaos, crisis, and confusion that has been visited upon the country by Donald Trump and Republican complete control of Congress. As Democrats, our position remains very clear. We will sit down with anyone, anytime, any place, here at the Capitol or back at the White House, to reopen the government, pay our federal employees, enact a spending agreement that meets the needs of the American people, and at the same time, address the Republican health care crisis that is devastating the American people. Donald Trump's strategy during this government shutdown that he has created has been to play golf and issue deepfake videos. Mike Johnson's strategy is to keep House Republicans on vacation. John Thune's strategy is to continue to do the same partisan thing over and over and over again and expect different results. That's legislative insanity. Our plea to our Republican colleagues is get serious about reopening the government. Let's have a conversation so we can find a bipartisan path forward to do the things that are necessary in a spending agreement to actually improve the quality of life of the American people and address the health care crisis that they've created. including by extending the Affordable Care Act tax credits. That's what we need to do right now so that tens of millions of Americans don't experience dramatically increased premiums, copays, and deductibles. That's going to bankrupt them or deprive them of the health care that they need. Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. They decided to shut the government down. Republicans in the House have decided to remain on vacation. Republicans canceled votes last week, they canceled votes this week, and now they've canceled votes next week. They're not serious about reopening the government. Republicans aren't even serious about paying our active duty troops.
But they have voted for temporary government funding legislation.
Republicans have voted for a partisan spending bill that continues to gut the health care of the American people and threatens to raise the cost of living on tens of millions of Americans in an environment where Republicans promised to lower the cost of living on day one. Costs haven't gone down, they've gone up. Inflation has gone up. The Trump tariffs are making life more expensive by thousands of dollars a year for everyday Americans. They visited chaos and crisis and confusion on the American people from day one of the Trump presidency. And now they've decided that they'd rather shut the government down than fix our broken health care system.
Now, check this out, y'all. Y'all got those bites ready? So check this out. Speaker Mike Johnson went on the C-SPAN show, and he got lit into it by a Republican over health care and a military spouse. Let's play the first one.
On the Republican line, Fort Belvoir, Virginia. Samantha, you're on with Speaker Johnson.
Hi, Mr. Johnson. So my question or comments are related to what you said yesterday about not being open to pass any legislation to ensure that military gets paid. I'm sure you can tell by my voice I'm very shaky. Just want you to hear a little bit about my family. I have two medically fragile children. I have a husband who actively serves this country. He suffers from PTSD from his 2 tours in Afghanistan. If we see a lapse in pay come the 15th, my children do not get the medication that's needed for them to live their life because we live paycheck to paycheck. I heard you earlier say that you side with President Trump on anything that he says. Well, I just read an article this morning that said he absolutely wholeheartedly believes that there needs to be legislation put in so that we do not miss a paycheck. You have the power to do that. And as a Republican, I'm very disappointed in my party, and I'm very disappointed in you because you do have the power to call the House back. You did that, or you refused to do that just for a show. I am begging you to pass this legislation. My kids could die. We don't have the credit because of the medical bills that I have to pay regularly. You could stop this, and you could be the one that could say military is getting paid. And I think that it is awful, and the audacity of someone who makes 6 figures a year to do this to military families is insane.
Republican line, Fort Belvoir, Virginia. Samantha, you're on with Speaker Johnson.
Hi, Mr. Johnson.
I'll turn it back over to the leader. We take some questions, but we've heard, and many of you have reported already, this Hate America rally that they have coming up for October 18th. The Antifa crowd.
All right, wrong clip. I'm going to set that up a little bit later. So there were a couple of clips there. Republicans were calling the C-SPAN complaining about what Johnson could do. And, of course, he's sitting looking like a bump on the log. That's what he does. That's how he operates, Matt. And he keeps wanting to say, well, the king called Democrats. He's afraid to seat the woman from Arizona because she's going to be the 218th vote of Epstein. The reason he's keeping them out, this is all about Jeffrey Epstein. They do not want those Jeffrey Epstein files released.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. And I don't know if that's all that it's about, but I do know that when I watch this kind of stuff, it just incenses me more than I can even imagine I can explain, because Congress continues to get paid during the shutdown. You know what I did last week? I called one of my best friends from college, one of my brothers who lives in D.C., and I don't know how he's going to make his mortgage. He doesn't know when he's going to be getting paid. Like, these are real people's lives. I have clients whose cases have been placed on perpetual stays because the prosecutor doesn't know if she's going to be able to check her email while the government is shut down. So all this political posturing, all of this BS, like, I mean, I get it. And I think the Democrats are doing the right thing in not, kowtowing to the Republicans. But all of the political pageantry is garbage. Like, at the end of the day, the people that call in, that's what's angering me about this, that we as citizens are allowing 500 people in D.C. to hold us hostage. And they're pointing fingers at the other person. But at the end of the day, families can't get their medication. And my buddy doesn't know how he's going to pay his mortgage. Like that, we should, as a society, people of all walks, should be infuriated that these bozos can't figure out how to keep the government open. But I guarantee you, everybody who's got an extension for their taxes here in October is going to be expected to pay those taxes in October, right? I mean, what are we doing? Like, are we serious about this? 10 days and the government's not open? And all we hear is political pageantry about how it's the other side's fault. Like, at a baseline, do your jobs. And you shouldn't be able to get paid while other people aren't getting paid in this meantime. Why should we be the pawns in this political process? So,
no, Congress going to always get paid now.
Exactly, because it's constitutionally protected. But your average American isn't. Like this lady's calling in about her kids' medication, talking about the military should get paid. And I get it. There are a lot of nuances about who will get paid and who won't in certain departments and all of that. But by and large, we as American citizens should be infuriated because we send these bozos to D.C. to do a basic job like keep the government open, which should only exist to provide services and to make sure we have harmony in this country, right? We've got some kind of infrastructure where we're not purely anarchical, but they can't even keep the government open. So, all of it is political posturing, and it just pisses me off that we have to be the ones who are caught in the lurch here because these idiots in D.C. can't figure out how to get people paid. I mean, it's absurd. Well, it really is.
And here's what people don't even realize, Candace. This is only a 7-week continuing resolution. Just 7 weeks. We're going to be back at this in 7 weeks.
Yeah, we could be back at the start of this. I think one of the things that's interesting, we were talking about how constitutionally they're going to get paid, even if they don't do their job, which they're not doing their job. I mean, their job is to work for us and to have a meeting of the minds and come up with solutions. What's also not constitutional is even not paying some of the people that are that have been furloughed, that are going to be losing their jobs because, according to the law, HR is not working in all of this process because there's not money to pay HR. And legally, they are not allowed to not pay people. They are not allowed to take people off of furlough because HR is shut down. So how is this even happening? This is, we talk about the Constitution. Little by little, we are breaking down the Constitution to where it almost doesn't matter. It's hard to go to the courts because the courts are filled and stacked with people that President Trump has put into place, and we don't know how fearful people are of their positions, and they don't want to take chances. So all we're doing is dealing with people who are getting paid and actually not doing their job, and this is why we are at a standstill. And like Matt said, we deserve more. It is very disconcerting to think about that we talk about votes and we talk about redlining and everything from the civil rights movement all the way up to now. And our votes are just not working because the people who we put into office, they're not doing their job. That's incredible. If we weren't doing our jobs, we would be let go. But this is something where the Democrats have to rise and battle and roar the same way that the Republicans do.
And the reality is MAGA don't give a damn, Michael. They don't care. They got no problem, these folks. Look, they want to fire hundreds of thousands of government workers. They don't care.
Well, they can say that now, but as their friends and family lose their paychecks, keep in mind, 85% of government employees live outside of the Washington, D.C. area. They're all across the country. They work at your Social Security Administration location. They work at the Veterans Affairs location. They work for the U.S. Postal Service. So their federal employees are local, okay? But I have news for people. Back during last year, 2024, I warned people about a second Trump administration. And I told you a number of times there were 3 government shutdowns in the first 2 years of the first Trump administration, and Republicans controlled the White House, the House of Representatives, and the U.S. Senate. The last government shutdown from December 2018 to January 2019 lasted 35 days. We're less than a third through this one. I mean, compared to that one. It can get much worse, but this is what you're dealing with. And the ombudsman, Russell Vought, is the architect of Project 2025 that Donald Trump said he knew nothing about, but Russell Vought was your ombudsman in the first Trump administration. No, this is what they wanted. This is what they've been planning. They're going to be a lot of permanent reductions in federal government. Okay, the 2.3 million, now it's less than 2.3 million. There are going to be a lot of permanent reductions. So, and a lot of MAGA is going to feel a lot of pain. This is going to hurt them. And some of them are going to have to be hurt economically for them to really wake up.
Well, we'll see if they actually do wake up. All right, folks, I'll go to break. We come back. Billions have been cut from public broadcasting. That's affecting WHUT at Howard University. We'll talk to the general manager next about what they are going to do to deal with this funding crisis. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network.
The original No Kings protest was 250 years ago. Americans decided they didn't want to live under the rule of King George III. They declared their independence and fought a bloody war for democracy. We've had 2.5 centuries of democracy since then, often challenging, sometimes messy, always essential. And we've fought in 2 world wars to preserve it. Now we have a would-be king who wants to take it away, King Donald I. Fuck that. We're rising up again this time, non-violently, raising our voices to declare no kings. I'm Robert De Niro, asking you to stand up and be counted in the nationwide No Kings protest on October 18th. Visit nokings.org to find, volunteer, or host a protest near you. We're all in this together, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
They said the quiet part out loud. Black votes are a threat, so they erased them. After the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act in 2013, Republican legislatures moved fast. New voter ID laws, polling place shutdowns, purges of black voters from the rolls. Trump's Justice Department didn't stop it. They joined in. In 2018, his DOJ backed Ohio's voter purge system, a scheme that disproportionately erased black voters. Their goal, erase black votes and political power. Yeah, that happened. These are the kinds of stories that we cover every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Subscribe on YouTube and download the Black Star Network app. Support fact-based independent journalism that centers African Americans and the issues that matter to our community.
Week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. How do you get a grip in business? Is it grace? Is it resilience? Is it retooling your skill set? Are you leading with intention, with purpose, passion, and planning?
It's basically a very simple formula. It's learning how to close the gap between your intentions in business and your actions in business.
You got to be relentless. You got to execute. And that's the grit part of it.
That's all this week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie here on Black Star Network.
What's up? It's the MCEO Talib Kweli. You are checking out Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Hold on. Folks, Howard University has their own public television station, WHUT. Unfortunately, they have been impacted by these federal budget cuts. You know, Donald Trump and Republicans targeting public broadcasting, cutting billions from the Corporation of Public Broadcasting as well as NPR. Well, guess what? That happens it goes downstream, impacting local stations. We are seeing massive cuts take place in public broadcasting all across the country. New Jersey, we're talking about small towns. A lot of these places depend, a lot of these rural places in America depend upon public broadcasting, radio and television, for their news and information. So you take what's happening at Howard University. Here they have, they're the only HBCU with this full license public broadcasting station. These cuts impacts their programming. So let's talk about it right now with Sean Platter, General Manager of WHUR 96.3 and WHUT TV. So first of all, Sean, take us, for people who don't understand this unique situation. It's, WHUR, first of all, is a major radio station here in Washington, D.C. Typically, in most cities, look, I'm from Houston, and you've got KTSU, KUHT. They're not dominant stations like Magic 102 is. WHUR is a lot different. So take us through how the radio station and the television station are being impacted by these federal cuts.
Absolutely. So on the radio side, our radio station is unique in that it's a commercial radio station founded in 1971. It was given to Howard University from the Washington Post. It was already a commercial signal. So WHUR is a powerhouse signal here in D.C. It is the #1 music station in D.C. out of 30 stations. So it competes against, it does compete against the larger companies like the iHearts, the Urban Ones, the Odyssey, and it does very well. It's always been a successful station. It's the home of The Quiet Storm, is where that format was founded in 1976. So a rich history in the commercial space. Now, on the other side of the coin, we have a public television station, WHUT, founded in 1980, and it is unique in a major market like Washington, D.C. And to have these under the umbrella of Howard University, they're so unique and special, and they really were created and really designed by President James Cheek back in the 70s and 80s to give a face and a voice to our community. And that's still what they're doing today. And so his desire was to be able to have a station where you could see people that look like you on that station. And that's, the mission we're continuing to do today. But these cuts, they make a big impact overall on how we're able to sustain our staff, create unique programming, fill the education gaps that exist in our community. And it's tough. And we are seeing that across the country. And so we're not immune from those cuts as well. And so we're doing all that we can to make sure that we hold on to this unique piece of Black media that's so important right now.
And we talk about these cuts. I mean, what about how many people? What about programming? How significant? And how much are you trying to raise to fill the gaps?
So our appropriation from the Corporation of Public Broadcasting equals about $1.4 million, and that's about 30% of our revenue coming into the station. So it's a big number, but it's something that we feel that we are able to achieve. And so we're asking the community, we're asking those who have benefited from our programming and from all that we've done over the years to help support, become a member, WHUT.org, and also for the corporations, for the community organizations. A lot of times we know people who are making decisions about where dollars are going. And so we just want you to know that WHUT is a place where we're telling your stories on your station. And it's not just content, it's also education. We're also training the next broadcasters. The journalists that are in the School of Communications are working right there with us in the building every day.
When you say become a member, what does that mean? What does that actually entail?
So if you go onto our website, you can support it in many different ways. You can become a one-time donor, or you can become a sustaining member where you donate maybe $10 every month, $100 every month. And as a part of that membership, we have different events, different screenings, different programs that you'll be a part of throughout the year. And you get the member benefits. You get to see a name on the television screen as a supporter of WHUT. And so we like to encourage folks to become members and be a part of what we're doing and really be a partner as we do special events throughout the year. You get to be a part and have your voice heard as well.
Questions from the panel. Candace, you first.
What are your plans these days? I'm wondering, what is the kind of the temperature in the office with what's going on with the shutdowns and what's going on with you? How do you even plan for the next phase, and what is the plan?
Yeah, great question. And it's almost a double whammy being in D.C. You have the shutdown and so many government workers who make up our membership. And so, you do have calls from people saying, hey, I need to make tough decisions and I can't support this month. And so you have, cuts on both sides and people trying to figure out what to do. But I'll say our staff is committed like never before. We understand the mission of why we're so important. And so they have rolled up their sleeves. It's like we're tuning out the noise and we're really focused on making sure that we're doing great content and really making an impact. Our goal is to make an impact. If WHUT goes away, you're going to feel it because you're going to see the holes of what we've been doing. And so we're making sure that, we're maximizing the content that we're creating. We just won 2 Emmys a few months ago. It's the first time in almost 20 plus years. So some dynamic content coming out of there. And also the work that we're doing in the school system. We hear from our partners. We hear from those PBS kids, young and old, who are supporting, and want to make sure that that content continues so that their kids can grow up and know those lessons that come with the PBS Kids content that we deliver every day.
Matt?
So maybe I missed you saying something to this effect, but I'm a Howard man, and I remember WHUR and all the friends of mine I had in School of C who went through, through there. So my question is, does the larger Howard campus, or I guess the Howard appropriation, does it have any kind of contingency plan for this? Because I know the money that's lost is from CPB, but obviously this is one of Howard's jewels. We have many, as you know. And I'd be interested in seeing if there's any contingency plan to cover this. How is the administration addressing that?
Yeah, the administration has been awesome, and I want to give a special shout out to VP Lydia Sermons and our interim president, Dr. Wayne Frederick. They have done an outstanding job of supporting WHUT, and a lot of the funding that we get does come from the university and also from membership support. And this is another piece of funding that came from Corporation of Public Broadcasting. And again, the university's done an outstanding job helping with our facilities, making sure that they're up to date. And so I think it's just on us to not put a full burden on the university to be able to fund these things. I think these are dollars that we can go out and find. And again, these are successful entities in a major market. They should have the support of corporations and other organizations. So we're just making sure that we get out and let people know that we're here and we're doing great work and we need your support.
Michael?
Sean, can you talk about the WHUT passport and how it gives access to a on-demand library, and what are some of the type of offerings that you have in that on-demand library that people may across the country be interested in? Sure.
So Passport is the PBS version of Netflix, if you will. It's an on-demand app that you're able to access on your digital platforms, on your TV. And so you can get any of your PBS content. If you like the national PBS content that's rolling out, you can get that. You can get local shows from WHUT. Right now, we just PBS produced a very special piece, Brother Roland, on our fraternity brother, Thurgood Marshall. And it's an incredible piece that's on Passport right now, as well as many of the documentaries that we love to see done on many different topics. And again, PBS Kids content is there. So anything that we produce, we're in a place where we're beyond just watch tonight at 7. Content is people like to watch it whenever they want to watch it. So anything that we're producing, you can go on there and get access to, and you can see the content that's on the screen right now is a local show produced showing you Anacostia and DC and different parts of the city. And again, that national content, Henry Louis Gates, Finding Your Roots is on there. All of those shows that you know and love, and some that you need to discover. So if you're flicking around trying to see what to find, check out Passport on your TV or your smart device.
All right, sounds great. Well, again, we want people to actually support. And by the way, when you mentioned Alpha, I heard the little groan. I
saw a face.
Well, you got a. First of all, you got one person on the panel. He one of them little fraternities. and I got two individuals.
No, but
I got two individuals in the control room who members of other little fraternity as well. So, but anytime excellence on this show, 98% of the time it's going to be an alpha, so they can't handle that. So that's all.
I was going to ask you about documentaries on Sigmas, though. If you had any documentaries on Sigma.
Ain't none.
You know,
ain't none. It ain't y'all.
If you have funding, we can do it.
The only one y'all got is John Lewis.
Man, John Lewis.
That's the only one y'all got. That's y'all only one. That's your only one. Michael, y'all got so many. Y'all got so many. Michael, y'all got so many honoraries. Just stop. Just stop. Just stop.
Come on.
Just stop.
Hold on.
Just
man.
stop.
Wait,
So Sean, you see what happens. So you see, all you gotta do is hit them with the honoraries. They get real quiet.
I'm not talking about the honoraries.
So
I see.
you see how it happens. See how it happens. Hit with the honoraries.
I'm not talking about the honoraries.
Right, because he'll never mention. Sean, he'll never mention Bill Clinton, one of their honoraries. But anyway, let's go ahead. Yeah, he don't want none of that. He don't want none of that.
There's no need to mention them.
Do you want me to show your recent inductee of honorary members? I advise you to be quiet, Michael. Michael, I advise you to be quiet, Michael. Michael, I ain't gonna hurt your feelings, but if you keep talking, I'm gonna hurt your feelings. Sean, again, if folk want to give, where do they go?
They go to WHUT.org. That's WHUT, Howard University Television.org.
All right, then. So, folks, again, WHUT, black-owned media. I keep telling y'all, we have to protect our black-owned media institutions. And so that's why we emphasize it. As I said, last week with the Tribe on, Capital B News is on tonight, talking about WHUT. Y'all keep hearing me say this here. Again, we got to be able to support, because what happens is we do not want to be in a situation where they are no longer here. And so please support WHUT. Frat, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity.
All right. When we come back, I'm going to show y'all these new Sigma honorees. Man, I ain't wasting my time. That's a waste of airtime. Don't nobody care. All right. We back in. What's wrong, Matt? Why you shaking your head, Matt?
Because you were just so consistently petty. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't understand how somebody's petty as you are.
Oh, I know. And trust me, I got something for you later on in the show, too. We'll be right back.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm going to be off.
We'll be right back.
Next, Get Wealthy with me, Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach. We talk about the principles of mindset, strategy, and execution. This week, we're adding a fourth, faith. You're going to hear from a mother and daughter duo who are helping thousands of Black women build wealth, all through their faith.
You are more than you can ever imagine. Not just obtaining things to show that, but seeing yourself.
Making your faith work for you. That's right here on Get Wealthy, only on Black Star Network.
This week on The Other Side of Change,
we are talking about the government shutdown and how it's impacting our everyday lives, including our pocketbooks.
These motherfuckers are crazy as hell. They are willing to shut down the entire government, to force people to pay more in their health care, to subsidize tax breaks for the wealthiest people.
Here you're watching The Other Side of Change, only on the Black Star Network.
Melanie Campbell, National Coalition on Black Civic Participation and Black Women's Roundtable. And we are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered all day, every day, 24/7. Spread the word.
Yeah, these little Sigmas still chirping ain't about, but, you know, that's one of the few under 55 I've ever met. So, you know, that's how it is. Anyway, speaking of folks who can't stop running their mouths, these Gaza protesters, last night, Vice President Kamala Harris was speaking at the Warner Theater, and here they are. She trying to sit here and be on stage, and they got to show their ass. Okay, so here we go. Watch this.
that is that going to turn people on?
And we should never let somebody else's limited ability. See who we are, limit who we think and know we are. Let that not be a limiting factor in your life, because they'll figure it out soon enough. They'll figure it out who you are soon enough. And you know, I sometimes think about, you know what, I am not president of the United States.
Candace, I got a feeling, if you play it again, turn the audio down, that was like the VP like, I'm sick of this bullshit. Like if you read her body language, come on, play it again. We'll talk, so you audio down, audio down, audio down, audio down. Candace, look at, Candace, this is her body language. When she stands up and points, Candace, it was like, you know what, I'm sick and tired of y'all asses, okay? Y'all getting on my damn nerves.
Yes, and you know what, Roland? I like this version of her. I like this I'm free now version of Kamala Harris. Because honestly, when she was running, during those 107 days, there was a part of her that was constrained. We knew that there was another part of her that wanted to break out. And in this book and on this tour, she's able to do it. We have seen that look from women. We have seen that stance, that scowl after, and we know exactly what it means. I'm sick and tired.
She jumped out that seat. She jumped out that seat. She stepped, pointed her finger. She's like, I'm sick of y'all asses. This is some bullshit. Interrupted me again at my damn book signing. Look at her, see? She like, all right, listen, see, all right, I'm going to let y'all asses talk. Y'all getting on my nerves, this bullshit. See, I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to answer the question. I'm trying to be cool. But no, y'all keep pressing me. See, y'all going to make all that Oakland, that Bay Area, y'all going to make that too short just come out in this damn, in the theater. I'm trying to be, see, she turned to the person. Finally, she's like, look, enough of this shit. Look at this. I ain't the damn president. Go talk to his ass.
That's right. That's right. And listen, at the end of the day, you know, when she gets like that and when women get like that and have that look, you know, you are the one that's going to be embarrassed on the other side. They were trying to embarrass her. That wasn't going to happen. That's not going to happen to her on this book tour or any further. I knew when she said that going for Joe Biden was a reckless decision, but she also blamed herself for supporting that. I was like, that's the Kamala that we need to see. That's the Kamala that we need to see to help make some change. I loved it. Every bit of it.
I mean, Matt, she jumped up, Matt, and responded. Come on, Matt. She jumped up. Can we see Matt? Appreciate it. She jumped up and responded. She was looking like Sarkeesian in the locker room after the losing last week to Florida.
Oh, you know, let me tell you something. One of your staff members, to be unnamed, texted me and said that to be an alpha, you got to be petty. It's a conditioned precedent. So, you know what I'm saying? I want you to know. We know you petty. Your people know you petty.
I'm unbothered.
You have to bring Sarkeesian into
I'm
this.
unbothered.
In any event.
No, I'm just making an analogy.
Now, don't miss me with the BS analogy. You was being petty, because that's what you are. But let me go ahead and make my point, or you want to yell me down like normal.
You did hear from me. You did hear from me last Saturday. I'm at a dinner. Okay.
I was. I was at a dinner. I really was. Okay. And I was mad when I saw your text come through. That's not the point. In any event, I like that she stood up to these hecklers, but I do also think that there's a real conversation that should be had about kind of how long or enduring your I don't want to say your duty is to the people that you serve, but when you're the vice president of the United States, I mean, I think it's just expected that there are going to be people who always take umbrage with what you did while you were in office. Now, she's not currently in office, and we can have arguments about the most appropriate time and place to do that, but this doesn't surprise me. And sometimes I think a shakeup of the respectability politics, like this is an event, you can't come in and interrupt it, is exactly what we need, because too much of the decorum is what we, defer to, and it allows people to not have to sometimes speak to their constituents and speak to those whom they serve. However, obviously, the issue in this situation is that she's no longer serving. So this is a book tour. I don't think she has to allow people to shout her down at her book tour. And, I think it's good that she told them to kick rocks. I mean, but I think there is a question about discourse, about how long that should continue.
Hey, Michael, I think she's going to hit somebody with a go to hell pretty soon.
She's going to slap the shit out of somebody. That's what's going to happen, okay? And these little protesters, I want to know who's financing them, who's funding them. But what they don't seem to understand is the vice president doesn't set policy. J.D. Vance don't set policy. Mike Pence didn't set policy. Dan Quayle didn't set policy. So you get mad at the vice president, but if you go back to March of 2024, when she was in Selma, Alabama, when they were commemorating Bloody Sunday, she talked about the deal that was on the table for a ceasefire. And if you listen to her tone during the campaign in regards to the Palestinians, it was a much more sympathetic tone than coming from Joe Biden. And she also wrote about that in her book as well. But Netanyahu wanted Trump back in office because he knew Trump would allow him to do whatever he wanted to do. Of course he did. And these same protesters don't want to talk about the ceasefire that Biden-Trump negotiated.
But they also don't show up at J.D. Vance events.
Well, they don't show up at Donald Trump events. Donald Trump periodically has rallies and speaking things like that. They don't go in those and act a fool. And there's rapid famine in Palestine right now. In the Gaza Strip. Rapid famine.
Well, now that we have this ceasefire, hostages been exchanged, let's see what happens after this and who they start shouting down. We'll see. All right, y'all, got to go to a break. We come back. National Guard troops on the streets now in Memphis. We'll talk to the city councilwoman next about that. Don't forget to support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. Your dollars are critically important for the work that we do. Our goal is to raise $1 million between now and the end of the year. And so if you want to support us via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see it bottom left-hand corner. Use the QR code for credit cards as well. PayPal's R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo's are Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Of course, checks and money order. Make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 2003 7-0196. Back in a moment.
Next on The Black Table with me, Craig Carr. Why the America we live in today is not what the founders intended or what they outlined in the Declaration of Independence and even the Constitution. Professor and author Kermit Roosevelt will join us to talk about his book, The Nation That Never Was. How history was misinterpreted, the intent and realities of America's beginnings, and missed a much better story in the process.
So if you have to pick some group to marginalize, I think it should be the people who are against equality.
That's next on The Black Table, right here on the Black Star Network.
If in this country right now, you have people get up in the morning and the only thing they can think about is how many people they can hurt, and they got the power, that's the time for mourning.
For better or worse, what makes America special, it's that legal system that's supposed to protect minorities from the tyranny of the majority.
We are at a point of a moral emergency. We must raise a voice of outrage. We must raise a voice of compassion. And we must raise a voice of unity.
We are not in a crisis of party versus party. We are in a crisis of civilization, a human rights crisis, and a crisis of democracy itself. And guess what? You've been chosen to make sure that those that would destroy, those that would hate, don't have the final say, and they don't ultimately win.
Hello, I'm Bishop T.D. Jakes, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Folks in Memphis now have to contend with the National Guard. Donald Trump has now placed those guards to the streets of Memphis. They arrived today. And, of course, you've had people making it clear they don't want them there. That's also what's been going on. Mayor Paul Young says he didn't request the troops. They, of course, were accepted by Tennessee Governor Bill Lee. Young said he agreed to cooperate after Trump and Governor Bill Lee went forward with their plan. Officials emphasized the mission is to target violent offenders, not intimidate residents. Police Chief C.J. Davis says the Guard will not be running checkpoints or policing neighborhoods, but will focus instead on directing traffic and maintaining a presence in busy retail corridors. We've been trying to get Mayor Paul Young on the show for the last several days. It has not happened, so we're going to keep reaching out to him every single day till he comes on this show. Other black mayors come on the show, so Mayor Young, don't be scared to come on, roll him out unfiltered. But joining us is Memphis City Council member Yolanda Cooper Sutton. I'm glad to have you here, Councilwoman, so please pass on to the mayor. Hey, this is the only black news show in America that's a daily show. He can come talk to us. Here's what I don't understand. You're going to have the National Guard directing traffic? Like that? Really? The police, she said, they're going to be directing traffic and in retail areas. Ooh, that's really going to deal with the issues in Memphis, right?
Right. And so what I'm understanding, and when we last talked, they're going to be in the downtown area, more so in parks and Beale Street. That's what their presence will mainly be from what our last meeting and we were last told. So they're in the downtown where tourism is. And of course, Beale Street is our big tourist place. And parks. So that's my understanding. And that's where they were when I left, because I'm in Jackson at the homecoming for JSU.
So do y'all have some major crime problem on Beale Street right now?
Right now, we don't have that much crime going on downtown because they put so much money into downtown and making sure that the downtown area is safe. So no, not as much as it was at first. So it isn't at this time.
Okay, so what the hell are they doing then?
You tell me.
I don't know.
We're trying to figure it out. We're just trying to figure it out because we didn't ask for this. We didn't ask for it. The mayor didn't ask for it. We didn't ask for this. But however, you got to understand the dynamics that goes on in Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis is a blue state. And they're really wanting it to be a red state.
Memphis is a blue city. Tennessee is a red state.
Yeah, that part. Yeah. And so, Memphis, there's the grit and grind there in Memphis, and it's predominantly black, 65% American. Black people live in Memphis. That's where we are. And we've had a crime issue. And if people will really be honest and be truthful, yes, we have. But however, the numbers were going down in our homicide, in our domestic violence. And so our numbers had really, really, really have been going down. And it was going down before all this was initiated.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here going, okay, so you're having them there to go into high retail areas and to direct traffic. Okay, sure. That's a great use of resources.
It is, isn't it? And they are not armed with, big tanks like they were. You got to remember the dynamics is totally different than Washington, D.C. And so they are downtown, from my understanding. They're downtown in tourism.
I have
the tourists.
Listen, I have said this numerous times, and I'll say it again. This is nothing about a big-ass TV show. This is a TV show. It's all about the spectacle. It's all about the flash. That's all this is. It's not actually about dealing with the issue. It is Donald Trump desperately. It's the TV show.
Yeah, it's a pony and horse show. It's a total pony and horse show. And as I always said from the beginning, when Kash Patel said that Memphis, Tennessee was the most dangerous, we should have cut him off at the knees then. But nobody said anything. And that was a light bulb. That should have been a light bulb. That should have been a red flag that had gone up and said, is something brewing in the background? And no one said anything. Not one thing. Even when I said something in August, I said they're planning on bringing the National Guards, but the picture is bigger than the National Guards, okay? It's bigger than that.
Yeah, but
we got 33 federal agencies. We got 33 federal agencies in Memphis. Really?
Right. And to your point, look, they're going to come after you, and you better be prepared to fight back. You saw what Brandon Johnson did in Chicago. You saw how Pritzker responded. Granted, Pritzker is a Democrat, but I get it. But Mayor Brandon Johnson was extremely strong about how he felt about these troops coming into Chicago.
That's right. That's right. Very, very pushback. He wasn't going for it. He wasn't going for the bullying. He just wasn't going for the rhetoric that, this administration brings. And it's just, we'll see. I'm just waiting for the numbers, and we'll see. I'm waiting to see the numbers, what the real outcome would be. What's the sustainability after all this is over? Whenever they decide to leave, I hear it. They're going to be there maybe a little bit longer than 90 days. So we'll see what happens in Memphis, Tennessee. Because the federal agencies, now they got the people kind of spooked, and is really sad to me as far as we had a lot of problems with paper tags, manufacturing paper tags, and people not being registered and all of that. And we have a permitless gun law, which is reckless. So this whole thing to me was a game strategy set up. You're going to make a permitless law in the state of Tennessee. We asked the governor, we asked him to carve Memphis out of this until we get things under control, in which we were headed down the right path. We were getting things under control. However, when you don't have men with balls, and you got Dollar General and Family Dollar balls, and you can't stand up and tell them, no, you're not coming. We're doing good. This is the result that you get in your city.
Damn. Dollar General Family Dollar balls. Okay. You okay, Matt? Matt, you okay?
That's hilarious. That's funny.
Matt, you get the first question, the councilwoman.
No, come back to me.
Candace,
come back to me, please.
Candace, go ahead.
I'll ask my train of thought there a little bit. This is part of the game, right? We know that Trump comes out to be a victor. Because, listen, if you have the FBI on the ground and they have arresting powers, unlike the National Guard, you're going to have crime that goes down. I mean, anybody with an accent or anybody whose papers aren't in order one bit, they're not going to be on the streets. So you mentioned sustainability. I'm wondering, what has it been like actually going downtown? If you have been there, what's the atmosphere? Can you take us down there?
Well, my office is downtown. It's on Main Street. And so I haven't been downtown since the NG's been here. They got here today and they're boots on the ground. I hear they're visible. However, it's a game. It's a game. And if you're just going to sit back and play this game, because see, it's two games that people talk about. This is just an absolute game. He said that he's coming to save Memphis, and he can't even save himself, never alone save himself. So how he's going to save Memphis and change the numbers? So like I always say, and I will always say, Everybody talk about checker and chess. No, this ain't a checker and chess. This a Ouija board that you playing on. And if you ain't spiritually connected and you can't see where they're going with this, yeah, you're going to fall for the tricks. And you're going to fall for the falsehood and the lies and the rhetoric and all the other foolishness that's going on. This ain't no checker, nor is this chess. They playing straight from a Ouija board.
Michael.
I'm writing down everything you're saying today. These are one for the books of the Ouija board. I thank you. Thank you for your answer.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Councilwoman Cooper Sutton. Yes, straight from a Ouija board. I never heard that one before. The Associated Press back on September 12th reported that Donald Trump said that he decided to send troops into Memphis, Tennessee after Union Pacific CEO Jim Vena, who used to regularly visit the city when he served on the board of FedEx, urged Donald Trump to address crime in the city. Can you talk about that? Do you know anything about that?
I have no validation on that. I don't have any validation on that. I don't know if that's one of his, he's a notorious liar. He will lie. Right. So I don't know. Right. Let's call a spade a spade. Right now, for Black Americans, it's very critical for us. And for a Democratic, we are at Memphis is a blue state, so it's very critical for us. And so we got to take everything that they're saying and turn this around and use it and capitalize off of it at the best way that we know how to capitalize off of it. And, it is what it is. It's a dog and pony show. That's just what it is.
Right. Right. And that was my second point of my question. The community organizations, the community violence intervention organizations that have been working to bring the crime statistics down, things like this. Have they been talking about continuing what they're doing, ramp things up? Has there been talk in the community about what to do on the ground level with the troops there and the 13 federal agencies, things like that?
Well, the organization that I have been in contact with, they gave me a list of demands of what they wanted to see and what they didn't want to see. So far with the National Guards. And, people really focus on the National Guard. The National Guard, that's not even our issue there in Memphis. That's not even our problem there in Memphis because they're on the ground. They are not enforcing any kind of laws. They're not toting big weapons. I think they do. Right. They are armed on the side with armed ammunition and, that. But this thing is bigger than what people actually see. Even when Roland came into Memphis that time, you can feel the energy. And what's happening in Memphis is until you deal with poverty and the root cause and the conditions, until you deal with that and address that, you got a billionaire that you allowed to come to our city and purchase land for some water. Then you allowed him to sneak in here, a 501c3, really? The Chamber of Commerce? See, you got to understand the dynamics of Memphis. Unless you live there, I'm a transplant from Memphis. And unless you understand that you got poverty that has not been dealt with correctly. You got billionaires, you got AutoZone, you got FedEx. Now you got Elon Musk, you got Orgel, you got these big major billion-dollar companies, billionaires that's in Memphis, and Memphis look the way it looks. It should raise a red flag on how the government has been ran and how the politics has been handled. I've only been in my seat for 1 year, 10 months, and 10 days. And let me tell you something. I'm unbought and unbossed. I'm going to call a spade. Until Memphis take control and deal with the corruption from the top, you're going to always get what you get at the bottom.
Right.
Well, it is Matt, are you now ready to ask the question, Matt?
I am, but I'm also ready to move to Memphis and vote for this sister. I have a question for you, though, and that is with the police department that has a black chief and has, I believe, 50+% officers. What is that interaction like between the National Guard and the police, and what are the police doing, essentially, with now the National Guard having a presence in the city? Has that affected their duties? Has that affected how they're patrolling? Anything like that?
Well, what I do know, and I've had what I did see before I left the city is that the police and the National Guards have partnered together. So they're walking together downtown. So they're partnering together, from my understanding. Once again, they're downtown. In our highly visible tourist area, but not in the streets of Memphis. They're not in the street. So right now they're in the downtown part of Memphis.
Which means that they are not.
So you make it make sense.
Yeah, which means that they are not in the most impacted areas, and so you claim you're there for the most impacted areas, but you actually are not. Again, it's all about a television show, and I'm sure Ice Barbie Christy Nome has sent more cameras to record what they're doing, so they can churn out more government-sponsored propaganda videos like they did in Chicago.
I'm sure. It's just, let me tell you, all this happened so fast. We could have stopped this at the door, but hey, we're here. And so we'll see what happens. We'll see the real numbers. You know, like I asked the chief at our city council meeting, I want to know the numbers, what you're actually doing, the work that you have been actually doing, the data, the work that you have, the Memphis Police Department, the people that's going to be here, that's going to stay here. I want to see actual numbers. I don't want numbers combined together. I want to see what you all have actually been doing since they've been here and the numbers that they have since they've been here.
Well, to me, that is a legitimate request. Councilwoman, we appreciate it. Glad you could join us. And we'll be following what happens in Memphis. And again, look forward to having Mayor Paul Young come on the show and talk about it.
I will talk to the mayor, and I will let him know that you're requesting his presence, and I'm sure you will get a response.
All right. We appreciate it. Thanks so much. All right, folks. Going to go to a break. I'll be right back. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
This week on The Other Side of Change,
we are talking about the government shutdown and how it's impacting our everyday lives, including our pocketbooks.
These motherfuckers are crazy as hell. They are willing to shut down the entire government, to force people to pay more in their health care, to subsidize tax breaks for the wealthiest people.
You're watching The Other Side of Change only on the Black Star Network.
Said the quiet part out loud. Black votes are a threat, so they erased them. After the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act in 2013, Republican legislatures moved fast. New voter ID laws, polling place shutdowns, purges of black voters from the rolls. Trump's Justice Department didn't stop it, they joined in. In 2018, his DOJ backed Ohio's voter purge system, a scheme that disproportionately erased black voters. Their goal, erase black votes and political power. Yeah, that happened. These are the kinds of stories that we cover every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Subscribe on YouTube and download the Black Star Network app. Support fact-based independent journalism that centers African Americans and the issues that matter to our community.
Hey, I'm Mark Morial, President and CEO of the National Urban League, and I'm watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, y'all. So you might have seen a couple times during the show the ad Robert De Niro cut for this massive protest that's going to take place October 18th called No Kings. Watch it.
The original No Kings protest was 250 years ago. Americans decided they didn't want to live under the rule of King George III. They declared their independence and fought a bloody war for democracy. We've had 2.5 centuries of democracy since then, often challenging, sometimes messy, always essential. And we've fought in 2 world wars to preserve it. Now we have a would-be king who wants to take it away, King Donald I. Fuck that. We're rising up again this time, nonviolently, raising our voices to declare no kings. I'm Robert De Niro, asking you to stand up and be counted in the nationwide No Kings protest on October 18th. Visit nokings.org to find, volunteer, or host a protest near you. We're all in this together, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
righty then, Mr. De Niro. So Speaker Mike Johnson, if y'all want to see how stupid these people are, this is literally what he said from the podium.
I'll turn it back over to the leader. We take some questions, but we've heard, and many of you have reported already, this Hate America rally that they have coming up for October 18th. The Antifa crowd and the pro-Hamas crowd and the Marxists, they're all going to gather on the mall. We got some House Democrats selling T-shirts for this event. It is an outrageous gathering for outrageous purposes, but the Democrats in the Senate have shown that they're afraid of that crowd, that they don't want to bow, that they want to bow to them, bow the knee to them, and they don't want to take incoming from them. And so they're willing to hold the American people hostage so that they don't have to face an angry mob that's a big chunk of their base. Now, if that's a rumor, they need to come out and clarify that it's not, but that is what we are hearing is their actual motivation, and it is outrageous. All this has got to come to an end.
I'm sorry, does he sound a bit unhinged? Candace, wasn't there a No Kings protest earlier this year? And now all of a sudden it's the Antifa rally?
Yeah. We saw this back in June. There's nothing new here. The only thing that's new is, as you mentioned, it's just a new part of the show that they're putting on. It's a new episode that we're looking at. And in this episode, the people who are going to the march, they're part of Antifa. They're calling them terrorists. They're saying, oh, my goodness, all the Democrats are selling T-shirts for this event, and they're going to stop this. It's just a new script. It's just rewritten. And really, it's all about the First Amendment, which everybody has. They got the right to march. They got the right paperwork in order. They're going to march. It was huge in June. It's going to be huge again. It's just rhetoric that they're trying to do to rally the base, and the base likes to listen to this the same way they like to tune into a television show every week that speaks to them. This is just a part of the series. Everyone's just waiting for the series finale, whenever and whatever that's going to be.
I mean, I'm just sitting here, Michael, and I'm like, oh, it's now the Hate America rally. Wow, I didn't realize that gathering, the freedom of assembly, freedom to protest, the freedom of speech, which is the First Amendment, means you hate America. I think that's called the Uphold the Constitution rally.
Mike Johnson, I have to give it to him. He's one of the best straight-faced bullshitters I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of them. Okay, he can just stand there and just tell these bold-faced lies, not break character, not break a smile, anything like that. I think he's a better liar than Donald Trump is. But there was a No Kings rally back on June 14th when Trump had his little coronation, right? And understanding the history of this country, the American Revolution was about the 13 colonies fighting against tyranny, fighting against a dictator, King George III. So this is not a hate America rally. This is in the tradition of what they say America is supposed to be about. And we don't have a king. So, MAGA Mike Johnson can play these little games and try to deflect from the fact that this is the Trump government shutdown, just like there were 3 Trump government shutdowns in the first 2 years of his first regime. Okay, so but in addition to the protests that take place on the 18th, that needs to be combined with targeted, sustained economic withdrawal strategies. It's one thing to have a mass protest and massive protests across the country one day. But when you strategically target corporations that help finance these Republicans and put them in power and help finance Trump, like the private prison corporations like Geo Group and Core Civic that are getting government contracts to house migrants, when you strike back with economic withdrawal, as Dr. King told us, to redistribute the pain, that's when you start seeing momentum. That's when you use political pressure points to weaken your opponent and defeat them.
I just sit here and just laugh. Really? Y'all that? I mean, before I go to Matt, let's just play Lil Mikey again. Come on, Lil Mikey. Go ahead and lie to us again.
We're the leader. We take some questions, but we've heard, and many of you have reported already, this Hate America rally that they have coming up for October 18th. The Antifa crowd and the pro-Hamas crowd and the Marxists, they're all going to gather on the mall. We got some House Democrats selling T-shirts for this event. It is an outrageous gathering for outrageous purposes, but the Democrats in the Senate have shown that they're afraid of that crowd, that they don't want to bow, that they want to bow to them, bow the knee to them, and they don't want to take incoming from them. And so they're willing to hold the American people hostage so that they don't have to face an angry mob that's a big chunk of their base. Now, if that's a rumor, they need to come out and clarify that it's not, but that is what we are hearing is their actual motivation, and it is outrageous. All this has got to come to an end.
Matt, if that's a rumor, they need to let us know. Oh, so y'all want them to answer to a rumor. Well, Senator Bernie Sanders decided to go and answer little Mikey. Here's what he said.
No, Speaker Johnson, the No Kings rally on October 18th is not a hate America rally. In fact, it's quite the contrary. It's a love America rally. It's a rally of millions of people all over this country who believe in our Constitution, who believe in American freedom, and are not going to let you and Donald Trump turn this country into an authoritarian society. It's a group of people who are disgusted that you and your friends want to double health care premiums in this country and take health care away from 15 million Americans. The right to protest is what America is about. You are not going to stop us.
Matt?
You know, I like it, and I'll say Candace is always right. Michael's almost always right. You are always petty. I just wanted to mention those truths. But here's the thing. Look, what I think about this, that Mike, let me finish. Can I please, brother? Can you shout me down in a minute? Can I finish? Thank you. So here's the thing. I think Michael used some words that were so perfectly, I think, attuned to this moment. Regime, right? That's what we're seeing. We're seeing a slide into authoritarianism. We're seeing a running full speed into authoritarianism. And I think what both him and Candace hit on masterfully is the cognitive dissonance with Republicans, particularly when they decide that this thing that I don't like is somehow antithetical to America. But on the 4th of July, you'll be right there tap dancing, talking about how the founders left a tyrannical English government. Right. So this is quintessential constitutional activity, the right to assemble, the right to air your grievances, the right to speak freely. This is what we for decades have said sets us apart, as Ronald Reagan might have said, a city out on a hill, right? City on a hill, America and its rights. This is quintessential Americanism. And for the Republicans to now say that it's got to be hate America, this is the rhetoric that we're seeing. And what's scary about this is the people who are buying this drivel are the same people who for a long time claimed they're a part of a party of values and morals. You just cannot have it both ways. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the Republicans trying to use it as both a battering ram and as a shield when they think it's advantageous, depending on how to play it in that perspective. But this is the Constitution 101, and this is exactly what they claim they're in support of. And then they get on TV and BS this. But the irony of all of this is Mike Johnson says this, and right below him it says government shutdown day 10. And the people holding us hostage are them. So I don't understand how you can say that with this, but I think Michael was exactly right in his assessment.
Well, I just love how they just want to sit here and just, you know, do what they do and just lie and love. They just love the Second Amendment. They just skip right over that sucker came right before them. All right, before we go, one last story that I got. In fact, it's a great video. I'm just gonna go ahead and play it. iPad, please, Henry.
On the second Saturday of October, the eyes of the nation gaze down upon the heart of Dallas. 195 miles from Norman and 195 miles from Austin. The Cotton Bowl is the 50-yard line. That separates two of college football's legendary programs. From the buses rolling through the fair to that long walk down this tunnel. To 3.5 hours of strain and emotion. Legends are forged in this battlefield. And in this game, throw out the X's and O's. Sometimes you just got to take a leap. Tomorrow, we take our hat back. This is OU Texas.
Just want to go ahead and play that for you, Matt. I mean, you know, I know you keep talking about how you went to Howard and it's Howard, HU, you know, all that. But you always flash and hook 'em horns. So I'm going to flash you something today that I ain't going to wait till Monday. 3-3.
First off, please don't flash me. Don't flash none of us.
3-3. 3-3.
Nah, bruh.
By tomorrow evening, y'all going to be 3-3. So I want to let you. Because first of all, you already fell out of the top 25, like all the way out. Like, wasn't y'all like 8? Y'all went from 8 to out. Damn! After losing to Florida. So
I know it's October. I don't need to hear any horror stories. No.
I'm just stating some facts, right? Are y'all gonna be 3-3 tomorrow?
I think we talked about petulant children and bullies earlier on this show.
What?
Stands to reason, my brother. That might be you right now, but all I'm going to tell you is my beloved parents are at that game. They're going to get that dub tomorrow. I'm glad they got the Dallas safe. Y'all enjoy the game.
Your parents going to be at the game tomorrow?
For decades. Red River Shootout, yeah. Because they real about it, and they know Texas getting the dub tomorrow.
Let me just go ahead. Let me just go ahead and tell your parents, listen, I want y'all to enjoy the state fair. I want y'all to get some corn dogs. I want y'all to get I want y'all to get some fried Oreo cookies.
Don't do it.
Because y'all gonna need some comfort food. Y'all gonna need some comfort food after y'all lose. Because Arch Manning, he ain't it.
Yeah. So this is the end of the show, right? I'm ready to sign off.
Any thoughts? Any thoughts, Candace, Michael? Anything for Matt? Any prayers for Matt?
All I'm gonna say is hook 'em.
I just didn't know it was more classic. His face as he was watching what you played, or the comment that we had earlier about the Ouija board and the Dollar General man.
Oh no! Was classic. Was classic. No, was classic. Was his text last week.
What did my text say?
Man, I'm at an event. Don't spoil my dinner with this bull.
I was so mad. I was wearing an orange suit, too. That's the worst part. And they took that L. But you know what?
Stop.
Don't happen.
Your ass was wearing an orange suit.
It was fly, too. I got you. It was crispy. I ain't going to lie to you. But that's not the point. Don't mess up my dinner with your BS.
Please send us a photo of this crispy orange suit.
Mm-hmm. All I'm gonna say is we're getting the dub tomorrow, Roland, and you're gonna have to eat your words next week. And we definitely are gonna wax that ass.
If I roll a video back from last Friday, you were highly confident y'all were gonna beat the Gators.
Hey,
but
you know what?
But at hold up. At 7:13 p.m. Central last Saturday.
Don't do it, man.
You got a chopped text. So, yes. So
the moment it comes up on my watch, I just instantly dread. You know, instantly.
You can't say orange suit and just expect us to get off that, Matt.
Hey, it was crispy though. I ain't gonna lie to you. Look, hey,
yeah, you're gonna have to show that one to us.
I'm not gonna do that. Why would I do that, Michael? Come on now.
You said it's crispy.
But I can't let King Petty try to roast me in front of America.
You said it.
Happen.
If you so confident in your crispy orange soup.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
Hey, if anybody was at the event with Matt last Saturday, y'all do me a favor. Y'all send a photo. Send me a photo. Email me a photo. Go to info@RolandSMartin.com and send me Matt's crispy orange soup photo.
Check it out, Ron. Check it out, Ron. When we get this dub, you're going to have to grab them Dollar General balls and call me and admit that we got this dub. So be ready, man.
Matt, you were talking.
Their outfits and then their get-ups. I don't know if you lean over to the get-ups.
Candace, don't do this, Candace. Don't do this, Candace. You know you're my girl, Candace. Don't do this. Don't fall prey. Don't fall prey to the temptation.
All I know since Matt.
I don't know where you fall with the orange soup.
All I know since Matt talking about what's crispy, go to my iPad. This is what's crispy. This is the AP Top 7. I don't even see y'all in it. I see my Texas A&M Aggies number 5. I see OU number 6. Let me go ahead and scroll down. No, I don't see y'all in that second group. I don't see y'all in that third group. Yeah, I don't see. Damn, Cincinnati got more votes than y'all did.
Are you done? I don't know where this is going because we're getting the dub tomorrow. That's what matters. Forward always, backwards never.
Okay. That's what we're going to see. We're going to see this. And then we're going to see horns sawed off. All right, y'all.
Yeah, see, you can't even talk. Go ahead and sign off, Charlie Pride.
Oh, no. Well, no. Hold up. I can sign off when your team is 5-0.
Oh, don't do it.
You can sign off.
Don't do it. I can't wait till we beat y'all in November.
When your team is 3-2 and they're going to be 3-3 tomorrow.
Gag them.
That's all I'm gonna say. Then you're gonna need to order some extra crispy chicken to make you feel good after y'all lose. So it's gonna be a lot of comfort food available at the State Fair of Texas at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas tomorrow because it's gonna be a lot of orange tears, and they will probably a lot of them are MAGA, but it'll be burnt orange tears. I can't wait.
Now, I know you ain't gonna talk about MAGA in Texas A&M. Don't do it.
I'm just simply saying it's going to be a lot of MAGA tears. Both y'all orange.
It's more in College Station, you know.
Both y'all orange. It's all good. Candace, we appreciate you being on today's show. Michael, thank you. Michael, you got a reprieve from your little organization. And so, Matt, what time is the game tomorrow, Matt?
That's like 2 o'clock, right? I think it's 2 o'clock.
Okay, 2 o'clock. Right? So it's 2 o'clock Central or Eastern?
Central.
Cool. So you'll be here for me about 5:15 Central tomorrow, Matt.
All right. Cool. And I want you to tell America after we get this dub. Okay. Go ahead and tell me.
Y'all know Matt ain't gonna, y'all know they're gonna lose. And then Matt gonna go in the witness protection program. All right, y'all. Candace, Michael, Matt, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Yeah, don't wear that orange. Yeah, Matt. Here we go, Matt. If y'all lose tomorrow, you gotta wear that crispy ass orange suit on the show tomorrow. On the show next Friday.
E2 Brute is all I gotta say to you, Candace Kelly. Yeah,
that's right.
You should have never mentioned it.
That's right, y'all.
Hey, it was fly.
If y'all lose, you gotta wear that crispy ass orange suit on the show next Friday.
I'll do it next week.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
All right.
Send it to the cleaners. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all later. Folks, we got to go. If y'all want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered, absolutely do so. First of all, on Monday, I'm going to be live from Georgia. My man Brian Jordan is having his Celebrity Golf Classic, so I'll be live from that tournament on Monday, so look forward to that. But if y'all want to support, first of all, also shout out Edwardswater University. These ain't their colors, but they gave me a black and gold shirt because, ain't nothing there in blue and white or purple and gold or any of that. So that's how they rock it. So they gave me this black and gold shirt. We went to Edgewater University. So shout out to Edgewater University. So again, Monday, I'll be in Georgia from Brian Jordan Celebrity Golf Classic. Support the show, folks. And if you want to give to our show, please do so. Use by Cash App. Use the Stripe QR code. That's credit cards as well. Bottom left-hand corner. Cash App. Again, Stripe QR code. PayPal, R. Martin Unfiltered. Venmo, RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Check some money order. Make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 2003 7-0196. Download the Black Star Network app. Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Be sure to get a copy of my book, White Fear, The Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds, available at bookstores nationwide. Be sure to get the audio version I read on Audible. If you want to, of course, get our Roland Martin Unfiltered Black Star Network swag, please do so by going to shopblackstarnetwork.com. We've got T-shirts, merchandise, hoodies, wall art, mugs, all that good stuff at shopblackstarnetwork.com. All these products you see to my left right here, these all are black-owned companies. These products are available also at shopblackstarnetwork.com. You see our gear. You see the scrubs right there. You see that car cleaning solution. You've got skincare products. You've got relishes. You've got sauces, crossword puzzles, toilet paper, backpack, HBCU gear, all sorts of stuff. Again, go to shopblackstarnetwork.com, our marketplace, shopblackstarnetwork.com. Don't forget our podcast, audio podcast, available on all platforms. You can download, do it through iHeartRadio, go to Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, all those platforms. And, of course, you want to support the work that we do, please download the app Fanbase. That's right. Get the social media app Fanbase. You want to invest, go to startengine.com/fanbase, startengine.com/fanbase. Thursday of next week, we're going to be on the road, y'all. That's right. We're going to be at, show it. Let's go. We're going to be doing a broadcast right there, y'all, from Virginia State University. That's going to be on October 16th, 6 p.m. at the Multipurpose Center. Can't wait to be back on campus. I did the commencement there a few years ago and had a great time and look forward to being back. So we'll be at Virginia State broadcasting live on that day, October 16th. Folks, that's it. I want y'all to have a fabulous weekend. Be safe, be well, and we'll see you on Monday right here. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. How?
News.